listen. I may have not been a Rebels fan from the get-go, from when the show was first coming out, but that's honestly only because I had zero ways of watching it at the time when it was coming out. I wasn't yet involved with the ancient art of binging or keeping up with the Kardashians. I still don't keep up with the Kardashians. But I binged a lot of Star Wars, I mean a lot of TV, but a lot of Star Wars content last year, including all of Rebels. So now I can say I am familiar. I am now involved with the lore of the wars in the stars. However, no spoilies, since I binged all of it last year, I didn't have to live with years of asking the same old question of where the frick is Ezra and Thrawn? But honestly, I like to be a part of things, so I pretend like I have been waiting for years and years and years for this. So was it worth the wait for an Ahsoka show? Well, if you're a Rebels fan, yes. And if you're an Ahsoka fan, yes, but a little less. Yellow, my name is Montero, and thank you for joining me on my journey to watch every TV show and every sitcom ever created. Not really, but we are going to get close. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2. So if you haven't seen the episodes yet, you're good to go. I kind of feel like I'm gonna do this every week, at least I want to try. I didn't do any reaction to this because 1, I need a break, and 2, reactions do cost a lot of time and money to make, so I basically decided I'm just gonna review them weekly and we're just gonna see how this goes. This is a new terrain for the both of us. So the first question we have to answer is this basically Rebels season 5, or can you jump into the show without having seen any of Rebels? Note, I didn't ask if this was an Ahsoka show or if this was Rebels season 5, even though I just did. To answer all of the questions, yes-ish. There are only 2 episodes in, so it's kind of hard to really say what's gonna happen from here on out going forward with Ahsoka and it basically being a Rebels season 5. However, I can say pretty confidently that if you've never seen any of Rebels, then you're more than likely gonna be a little bit confused as to what the heck is going on. You honestly have no real connection to these characters as to what they're doing because they're kind of just assuming that you know what's happening, which, I mean, to someone's credit, you should, but it's definitely one of those you need to watch a few things first in order to watch this one. So is it Ahsoka's show? I mean, for a show with her name for the title, she is sharing a lot of the first 2 episodes with the Rebels IP. I'm not complaining though, because honestly, I already fell in love with the first 2 episodes as they stand. Sure, they're not perfect, but just based on that, I already know that the rest of the season, or at least the show as a whole, is gonna be a good ride. But like I said, this show doesn't feel like Ahsoka's alone. It feels more or less shared, but it actually works. You'll just be slightly confused if you've not done your homework. And honestly, it's a lot of homework. And they don't recap Ahsoka's life for you at all in this show, mind you. Dave Filoni really said, do your homework, you lazy bum. To put it in perspective for you, I tried to watch this with a friend last night when the 2 episodes first dropped, and then I realized this guy doesn't know at all what's happened to Ahsoka. He just knows that she's a really cool and amazing Jedi. He's seen some of the Clone Wars, he's seen enough to get the gist of it. But he already loves Ahsoka, but he didn't know. He doesn't know that season 5 arc, and you know which arc I'm talking about. So that's honestly where we're gonna start. We're gonna start with the season 5 arc, then jump to season 7 for the season 7 arc, and then we're gonna watch Tales of the Jedis and all of Rebels, and then we're gonna do Ahsoka. Hopefully we're gonna do all of that before next week, but you know, if it takes 2 weeks, then that's fine. I'm excited, because it's Star Wars. But honestly, that's a lot of homework. Keep that in mind when you're starting Ahsoka. You can totally go into it completely blind. I mean, that's up to you. But let me tell you, Filmer dudes, from the beautiful score to the visuals and the writing, this show ushers in the return of Star Wars proper. Holy cow! The first 2 episodes feel like the most classic. Holy cow! The first 2 episodes feel like the most classic Star Wars, but still remaining its very own thing, more so than any of the other shows in the past. Mando, The Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, all of these shows felt like watered down Star Wars to me. Not just to me, to many other people out there. Mando season 1 will always remain as the best Mando season of all 3. Here's how I would describe Ahsoka the show, at least the first 2 episodes. So far, these first 2 episodes feel like a better and flashier Andor. Now, I'm not going to talk about Andor. I have my reserved feelings about Andor. Most would agree that this is a show where you either liked it or you didn't. I didn't. Rather, I didn't like the first half. Last half from the prison break onward phenomenal, but a completely boring first half. However, I do want to rewatch it and give it another go because opinions change. They do. People change. And the place in life plays a big part when watching and experiencing content. I always say this. So I do want to give it another go just in case. Maybe it was me and where I was and all what I was doing. But I would confidently say this. Ahsoka has a dark tone of Andor, but still keeps the light and flashy Star Wars Jedi's lightsaber-y feel that we all are used to and that we all love. It's Ahsoka! Ahsoka is the secret ingredient to Star Wars, man! Some people will say that these first 2 episodes are pretty slow-paced, but I would disagree. Though I do see why they dropped the first 2 episodes rather than just 1. They really do play off of each other, because if you watch them back to back, it's like you're watching a whole movie, and you're gonna get 2 more, well, you're gonna get 1 a week, but still. And I do like that we have more episodes and that they are longer so that we have more story, not necessarily more story to tell, but more room to tell the story. But even the fight scenes are what you would expect from a true modern day lightsaber fight. All of the fight scenes go hard. And just considering and looking back the past few years and realizing how deprived and how lacking lightsabers have been, this show is technically lightsabers galore. I'm not complaining about the fight scenes in J.J. Abrams' movies. Those were character choices and I respect that. But I think we were wanting a little bit more, and we totally got that little bit more in Ahsoka. This show is so good. By the time I got to the end of episode 1, during the fight scene, there was one specific moment where Shin Hati pushes her lightsaber against her opponent and the camera also pushes in at the same time. Whoa, the rack focus. That scene made me audibly say, who directed this? And as soon as the episode ended, just mere moments later, it told me. Dave Filoni. Honestly, it's kind of making me angry that Dave Filoni isn't in talks to take over from Kathleen Kennedy for Star Wars. Like, it makes perfect sense to me. Everything that he does, everyone likes. So why not put him in charge? So what about the cast? Of course, Rosario Dawson continues to do an excellent job in the role of an older, more hardened version of Ahsoka. And the supporting cast does their job well as well. Natasha Leo Bordizzo is a standout in my opinion. She embodies Sabine so well, and she's given a lot of character development in these first 2 episodes. Sabine is so insanely cool in Star Wars Rebels already, but somehow they said, hold my bantha milk, and one up themselves with Sabine because, oh! She's so insanely cool here. She's just a very relatable character. And she even gets a Milan moment. Hera, however, I don't know. I kind of feel like she's miscast. I normally love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. In the show, Hera was headstrong yet supportive like a mother, and we do see some of those motherly instincts, and those moments were really cool where I was like, ah, there it is. She doesn't have the same intonation as Hera. It's very unfortunate because as soon as she speaks, I'm like, that's not how Hera speaks. Natasha Bordizzo, Rosario Dawson, they all nail down how their characters speak because you gotta listen to their speech pattern. It's not just reciting lines. But this is only 2 episodes, so we'll see how, she does later on, but I was not impressed in the trailer. I'm only slightly impressed here. The villains Baylan Skoll, Shin Hati, and Morgan Elsbeth are all super cool here. And honestly, they're all kind of equally terrifying in their own right. Who doesn't love a terrifying villain? I actually plan on making a character favorites ranking list by the time this is done, so be on the lookout for that at the end of episode 8. So in like 8 to 9 weeks. Star Wars Ahsoka to me seems like it has the biggest potential to be the best live action Star Wars show ever made, at least so far. Is it using nostalgia from Rebels? Yes. Do I hate that you have to do a lot of homework to watch the show? Yes. Do I love the show anyway and think it's worth the time? Heck yeah! It's absolutely worth it. These first 2 episodes of Ahsoka are honestly everything I wanted for an Ahsoka TV show for live action. My checkboxes have been checked and then some, of which I didn't even know I even had. In the end, it's pretty early, I would say, to give Ahsoka an overall rating. However, these first 2 episodes deserve an A, probably even an A+. That was my spoiler-free review for Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2. If you've not seen the show yet, what are you doing? Get on Disney Plus and watch it. This is actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I almost decided not to watch the show because I was that afraid they were gonna ruin the character. they haven't. After Obi-Wan was, I mean, the Book of Boba Fett, I was like, yes, this is really bad. But after Obi-Wan, that tipped me over the scales of Star Wars live action shows. And Secret Invasion, that also tipped me over the edge. So I was very skeptical. This is another reason why I didn't really want to react to it. I was like, I mean, I don't want to react if in case it's not good. But oh man, it's good. You can check out my Sushi Media links in the description below, as well as my link to my Patreon and my website. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you are going to put a comment that is a spoiler, please mark it as so. And I will see you next time. You've just been Montified.